Hey guys, welcome to Gadget First. Today we're talking about these new PlayStation 4 rumours, saying that both Sony and Microsoft will be having their own events focused on the new generation of consoles by as early as March, actually, so that's pretty interesting. I'll run you through to some of the new specifications that have been leaked about the PlayStation 4. Apparently it's meant to be running on an AMD, it's pretty much all AMD based, and it's a lot closer to what you might find in a gaming computer rather than just made for consoles. It's much closer in design to a gaming computer than a console of the previous generation. It's said to be running an AMD A10 APU, which is a bit of an odd decision really, because it's going to have its own dedicated GPU as well as this CPU, and the APU, as in the CPU, will have its own built-in graphics, so it seems a bit odd. Maybe it's for power saving. Probably for power saving, so that when you're not playing games, it will turn off the GPU and go solely onto the APU, which will definitely save quite a bit of power. It's meant to have 4 GB of RAM, which is it's just going to be doing games, nothing more than that. People will probably look at 4 GB of RAM and be like, oh, it's 4 GB. I've got 8 GB in my computer, and then they'll be like, oh, 8 GB must be better than 4 GB, but it's just doing games. It's not really doing much more. It might have some web browsing interfaces on it, but at the end of the day, it's not going to be doing everything a computer does. And interestingly, it said the graphics card is said to be around the same as the AMD 7970M, which is what you get in high-end gaming laptops. So that's a bit of an odd decision, I think. Obviously, as it's the M processor for mobile, it will save on power, because consoles, they don't have massive power supplies like a gaming computer. They have to run from the mains with maybe a small brick. So I understand that, but it does seem a little bit behind the times. Most people's gaming computers are way above this kind of spec already. The 7970M, I think it's about 20% slower than the 7970, and they are underclocking this from 850 megahertz down to 800, and cutting down some of the cores as well. So it's not going to be even as fast as a 7970M gaming computer. So that's a little worrying. But saying that, people have been able to get brilliant frame rates. Like developers have been able to get brilliant frame rates on quite good-looking games on this really old generation of consoles for quite some time. I mean, you could even play like Far Cry and stuff like that on this generation of consoles, and it's not beautiful, it's not smooth, but it's playable. So imagine what they can get out of this. They'll be able to exploit a lot more performance from this than they did on the last generation of consoles, which is pretty interesting for computing, for gaming computer owners, because as the new consoles are more related to gaming computers than ever, it means developers won't have to port the games, well, at all really. Obviously there'll be different OSs, but the porting will be a lot less stressful, which means you should get better ports on PC, meaning that we won't get games that run shit. I'm looking at you, Ubisoft, because a lot of Ubisoft games, they put no effort into porting them or developing them on computer. Far Cry was an exception. That runs beautifully on my PC, and a lot of other people really like it on their computers. Runs nicely, looks brilliant. But Assassin's Creed 3, what went on there? That was dreadful. So that means they'll have to make less of an effort to port it onto a computer, meaning we should get better looking games that run nicer because of the new generation of consoles. So I can't moan at consoles all the way, because if there wasn't going to be a new generation of consoles soon, then the gaming market would just become stagnant, because people are kind of getting bored of this 30 frames per second bollocks. So it's nice to see that they are being closely related to gaming computers, so we'll definitely get some really nice games out on computer now. But the price point, we don't really know much about that yet. I mean, if it's having a 7970M in it, that's not cheap. that's quite a high-end GPU. I know I said it's the M for like laptops and mobiles, but it's not cheap. It's still pretty damn good. So yeah, so I'm pretty interested on what the new generation of console is going to be like, how it stacks up against the Xbox 720, if that's what it's going to be called. So pretty interested, and hopefully my computer still beats them.